Most workplace accommodations cost little to nothing, yet employees often hesitate to ask for them. Not because they don't need them, but because they worry about being seen as difficult, singled out, or even penalized. Think about how much untapped potential exists simply because people don't feel comfortable speaking up. Hi, I'm Denis Boudreau. I work with leaders and executives who are no longer willing to overlook disability inclusion and want to transform their leadership approach from inclusive-ish to truly inclusive by championing accessibility. Today we're talking about empowerment and self-advocacy because inclusion is not about leadership just making the right moves. It's also about creating work environments where employees with disabilities feel safe, confident, and supported in advocating for their needs. According to the Job Accommodation Network, nearly 50% of workplace accommodations cost nothing to implement, and the rest typically costs less than $500. Yet despite how accessible these solutions are, many employees hesitate to ask for them. Not because they're not needed, but because they fear stigma, backlash, or being seen as a problem. Think about that. Support exists, and the solutions are often simple, yet people continue to feel silenced. That's exactly what happened to Uma, a 37-year-old deaf senior VP working for a Fortune 500 company. Uma's role requires frequent meetings, networking, and leadership discussions. She's a top expert in her field, but as a native American Sign Language speaker, when conversations happen too fast, people talk over each other, or captions aren't planned for in virtual meetings, understandably, it's much harder for her to keep up. For years, Uma has been relying on lip reading and context clues to stay engaged. It was always exhausting and often led to missed important details. She knew that requesting consistent ASL interpreters and live captions would allow for her to participate fully, but even as a senior leader, she didn't want to ask because she didn't want to be perceived as someone who needed special treatment, and she worried about the associated cost as well. Eventually, after repeatedly feeling left out of key meetings, she spoke up. Her company quickly arranged ongoing ASL interpretation and captioning so she too could have equal access to information. Afterward, Uma learned that several other employees had also been struggling with inaccessible communication but never spoke up, fearing they'd be seen as troublemakers. Her decision to advocate for herself ended up empowering others to do the same thing. This is why self-advocacy is so important. But let's be clear, the burden of inclusion shouldn't fall exclusively on the shoulders of employees living with disabilities. As leaders, we must create work environments where our self-advocacy is safe, welcomed, and encouraged. So how do we go about doing that? First, we must normalize conversations about accommodations. Many employees assume they need to prove they deserve support. Instead, let's be proactive by asking our team members what they need to do their best work. Make it clear that accommodations aren't special favors, but instead are part of how we will be creating supportive workplaces from now on. Second, make policies clear and accessible. If employees don't know how to request accommodations or fear backlash or negative consequences, they simply won't ask for them. Make sure your processes are simple, transparent, and free of any kind of stigma. And third, lead by example. If you need a standing desk, noise-canceling headphones, flexible work hours, or synchronized captions, do what Uma did and talk about it openly. If you as a leader model that everyone can benefit from a tailored work environment, it will normalize the conversation and slowly remove the fear of asking. When employees feel empowered to speak up without fear, everyone wins. Productivity improves, engagement increases, and organizations benefit from the full potential of all of their workforce. So here's your challenge for this week. Take a close look at your workplace culture. Are your employees feeling comfortable requesting accommodations, or are they likely to hesitate? What's one thing that you can do today to make self-advocacy feel safer and more encouraged in your organization? And I want to hear from you. Have you ever spoken up about a need or supported someone else who did? What happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you're ready to move beyond inclusive-ish and start leading with purpose, hit subscribe and join me for more insights on inclusive leadership. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.